Yes, I greet every one of you, and as you all know, my name remains Madukaile, and I'm from Akumazo, Moacha. Now, I resolve in all of this. In all of this, what we believe and things that we are telling you that is nothing but the truth is that, for instance, when you look at Lagos State, I'm using Lagos State as an example. When you look at Lagos State, you will agree with me that there are a whole lot of tribe, different indigenous of different tribe lives, stays in Lagos State in numbers. When I mean in numbers, I'm not talking about the hundreds, I'm talking about in millions. Aside the indigenous of that Lagos State, what I mean the influx from different tribes that are staying in Lagos as it stands today is a number you cannot just equate immediately, because if I am not mistaken, visitors who stays and lives in Lagos who are not Yoruba, who are not Lagosians, they are more than the indigenous, the owners of, the Aworis of that Lagos State. Yet, the owner of the Lagos State still retain their language and tradition. Even those who came also retain their own language and tradition within that space of Lagos. And this is one of the reasons why you see people talk, they say Lagos is a no man's land. The reason why the word Lagos is a no man's land is there is because of the different tribe who flock in Lagos from different directions. If you go to Lagos, you see Hausas, they are in Lagos in their numbers. You see Igbos, they are in Lagos in their numbers. Ijos, Robo, Shakir, different tribes. Are they coexisting in Lagos? The answer is yes. Is there anybody who is dominating each other there? The answer is no. Nobody is dominating each other there. But yet, they coexist. At the end of the whole section or season, some return back to where they came from. And returning back is all about migration. Migrating again out of Lagos State to where they migrated initially from. Now, Lagos as a good example, or Abuja, or Kano as a good example of what I'm trying to say is that Lagos will have different tribes. People from different places who came to Lagos to live, to do business, and some started raising family in that Lagos. Not just raising family, they started building their own, having their own property, living. Some are there 50 years, some are there 40 years, some are there 30 years. And in that Lagos, everybody maintained his tradition and culture. Nobody change their worries, their language as an indigenous. The indigenous of the state, they maintain their language, they maintain their culture and tradition. The visitors who came to live with them also maintain their own language and tradition and cultural values. And some were raised in Lagos for 60, 70 years. That has been where they live. But when they begin to grow old, they leave Lagos to their indigenous base. And that is why, most especially during the Christmas period, you see the Igbos, both the Benin, both the Jos and the Robos, everybody will carry their bag and return back, migrate back to that end in which they actually migrated from to settle at Lagos. So every tribe that you see in Lagos today maintain their personal culture, tradition, cultural values on their side. Nobody is imposing their culture, their tradition, their language on anybody in that Lagos. And it came to a point, people begin to see Lagos as a no man's land. The truth is that there are people who are the indigenous owners of Lagos. But because Lagos being the center of commerce, it has a kind of attract so many green pasture seekers to migrate from their own end to live in Lagos, seeking for their daily bread, seeking for their ends meet. And that Lagos, starting from the time of discovery of Lagos, do you know how many years is that till now? The visitors are not able to change the indigenous owners of Lagos, their language, their culture, and their tradition. And even those who are the owners of that Lagos are also not able to change the tradition and custom of those who have come to live within that area. So, but they coexist. They coexist. Now, this is an example of what actually played out in Edu. You know, I watched, since after Senator Ned Nwoko make a statement about we having an indigenous Igbos in Edo State, that every one of us are Nyoman, that we are all Igbos. You know, a lot of people has find it to be seriously offensive. And not just being offensive, it has become a topic that people are not discussing. Some are taking it upon themselves to resort to an insult, insulting Senator Ned Nwoko, calling him all sort of name just because he made a statement. Now, at that point, on my own, I began to see those who insult Senator Ned Nwoko as the people who are weak. Because the reason why I call them weak men and women is that if actually you know truth, you have an answer to what we are saying. I don't think you have the time to resort to an insult or name calling. What you should have done is to come out and, you know, clear people, tell people this is the true story. Narrate, allow people to ask you questions. Allow people to prosecute whatsoever information you are giving to them. Now you stand at the point of defending the truth that you know. I think that is when I should be able to call you a strong man. That is the only way I can call you a strong man. But when you have a statement, maybe you are not okay with the statement, the next thing is you stand up and begin to raise calls, you begin to call people names. And one of the funniest part of this whole drama is that I listen to Benin people. Is it on their space, Twitter space or whatsoever? I don't know where they have that conversation, but I believe is one of these social media platforms. The reason why I'm not actually interested in their conversation after listening to the first and second line is that how did they think that they who stays in Benin will determine what happened in Delta State? I don't see the possibility of a Delta man deciding what happened in Edo State. I don't see the possibility. And this guy has actually crossed the red line because they are taking more than they can chew. A Benin man deciding what happened in Delta State is quite funny. And to some of our brothers and sisters who are actually, you know, running shoulder to shoulder in times of teaming up together with them, as if the users that these guys are constituting on social media is right. I laugh at you because one truth is that you fail to understand that Benin never welcome you into a matter that has to do with them as in there. Do you as an Anyama person? They have not in any way, any time welcome you into a matter that had to do with them in the Benin. And yet, you are giving them all the welcome hands to dabble into your own matter, to make decision on things that had to do with you. They are Benin. Nobody is, choking mouth into their internal affairs. Now, why are they taking it upon themselves? Why are they standing in all of the social media platform? Standing as if that we and Nyomans has actually employed them as a solicitor, as if we have actually employed them as our defense counsel to defend our identity. It's quite funny. And some of our brothers are actually going with them in that direction. So let me use this opportunity to tell you guys that, one, you believe that Ned Nwoko, according to what I heard from you guys, that Ned Nwoko is not coming back again in the next tenure if your election is conducted as a senator, because you guys are not going to allow him to, see victory. Now, let me ask you, Benin, the last election you have in your state, did any Ekaman did we contest in Edo State? Did you actually come out in the open to tell you who will win and who not to win in your political struggle as Benin people? Did we do that? Now, why are you now thinking that during our own time that you guys will come to decide what happened in our end? That is funny, because if our people are actually applauding that stupidity, let me just make it clear to you guys that you guys are actually fucking up big time. You are fucking up. You should mind your own business. The business you should mind is what is happening in Edo State. Now, if we are telling a story, we mention Benin, open your ear to see the reason why we mention that Benin. And we are not dragging anywhere in Benin. And whatsoever you see us, every statement you see us make is actually obvious. You can go and verify. I don't just come on the social media to begin to throw cheers, to begin to make mouth, to begin to say this so that I am not here to incite you. I am here to say things the way it is. But one thing I know is that I don't cross the red line. I will not even seek for your trouble. That is not part of me. But one thing I want to let you know is that me, as an Eka man, I know to an extent. I am not telling you that I am Mr. No, but to an extent, there are truths I know, and the truth I know is what I'm defending. And if some of my Eka brothers and sisters are seeing it from different angles, maybe calling me names because their faith is not in any way aligned with what I have seen, I will not fight them, because I know that this issue of identity that we are trying to direct now did not begin or start yesterday. It has taken time, it has taken years, and nobody has come out in this manner that we are now to question whatsoever information. So for that, a lot of people are taking it to be the truth. But one thing you need to know is that the reason why we are challenging whatsoever information or history about us being connected to Benin is that there are so many obvious reasons that we are doing what we are doing. For example, you should know that when we check proximity, our closeness, or let me say time, proximity, what I mean, the distance between the Edos and the Ekas, let me not just say Delta, or Delta, that's just a common boundary. And from Eka to Benin, it's just a stone throw. So we are more closer than them, than Anambra, than India, and so on and so forth. Now, when you look at how close you are to these people, and now you begin to look at the differences, despite the closeness, you can see some things that we share together as neighbors. This happened because of the proximity. Those things, those similarity, or those things you see that it is acceptable with us and also acceptable with them, is that we live very close with them. But when you look at those things, it is obvious that out of 100% of our characteristic behavior or actions you see in us as women, you will agree with that. What you see that you say it is similar between we and Benin people is not up to 5% out of 100. The reason why I'm giving them 5% is that I don't need people to see me as somebody who over-exaggerates. And that is why I'm giving it 5%. And it is not more than the 5%. The 5% I'm giving it is to say for sure that actually we live close with these people, we share common boundary. By so doing, there is an exchange of culture, words and language and some things. But when you look at it, it's not up to 5% out of 100% of our, of our behavioral, of our characteristics when it comes to behavior, language, food, and values and whatsoever, cultural and whatsoever. It did not go up to 5%. I'm only giving them 5% because I don't want you to look at it that I am over-exaggerating, or maybe I am over-emphasizing. But you should know that what I just said is nothing but the truth. You know, excuse me. So I want you to know that what you hear me do or say, I am not over-exaggerating, because the number is not up to 5%. So you should listen to me when I'm giving you a teaching. Please, I'm online. I will talk to you later. It is not up to 5%. It is not. So I'm giving them 5%. Let it not be that I'm taking it too far. But look at it this way. In case you don't know, have you lost it? What is your problem? Have you lost it? Let me give you for an instance. They just had the last election in Edo State. And if I have checked, at least I am not forgotten. It is not in the news, both on social media or electronic media, radio, TV, or whatever. It is not in the news, either in any article, that an Ekama, Kwale man, or another man is deciding the outcome of Edo State election. Because it is their internal matter. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with us. We can actually discuss the outcome or the drama we see during that election as a people. We can discuss it based on what we read on the newspaper and the news. But we don't have decision. We are not making decision for Benin people. It is their right to make decision on their own on anything that happened within their internals, within their reach. But for Benin youth, with an audacity coming on the social media, to be saying that the next election, deciding how we are going to play it, who will win and who will not win, who is going to be dropped and who is going to be picked. I laugh at you guys because you have already made it plain to the world that you are nothing but somebody who has migraine. The level of headache that you guys are actually having now is a migraine. Do you know what is called migraine? But a normal human being should mind his or her reach. Exceeding your reach and even crossing your reach shows that you are nothing but I don't want to use a derogatory word. I always watch what I said. But it's quite unfortunate that my brothers, my sisters, my relatives, my cousins, those that are the same blood with me, are actually dining and whining with those who are actually spitting on our face. It is an insult for a Benin person to want to say, next election, we are going to disgrace him. You, Benin, how can you disgrace a senator that is representing Delta North? Ned is not a senator representing in any constituency in Edo State. Ned Nwoko is not a senator that is representing any constituency in Edo State. For that reason, I don't think any Benin man or woman has what it takes to decide how we Delta North handle our internal affair. After all, we have not come out to complain that Ned is not doing well. Before Ned, took over that position as a senator, there are other senators who have been there. Okowa is there as a senator before becoming a governor of Delta State. And I still want to tell you that I'm not a politician, but I can categorically tell you that the level of representation that we have seen from Ned Nwoko, we did not see it from Okowa. And from Ika, Ned is an Anyocha man. We did not see that such representation from Okowa, who is from the same Ika with me. So, and if there is anything that we are saying, Benin people, how I don't get it. I don't get it. It's annoying. It's annoying. So now this is my message to you, because I am not here to waste actually time. If you are from Anyoma, When I mean anyom, I mean the okwane. I mean the, what is it called? I mean the Ika. I mean the Anyocha people. Listen and listen good. Those believers who are calling you to do what you have never called them to do in their state, did they mean well for you? Are you not surprised that the reason why Benin people are shouting that a car is this, a car is this, Ambo is this, because of the mineral resources that is deposited in that end? Are you not aware? That they are not saying that you are one of them because truly you are one of them. So they who are now accusing Ndanambra for trying to expand, calling them an expansionist, have you now seen that the reason why they are holding you as their descendant is what they have discovered in your corridor? So they are not calling you their blood because originally you are their blood. They are calling you their blood indirectly because they stand to gain something from your corridor, from your backyard. That is why they are doing all this thing they are doing. They are part of Niger Delta today because some of the things that make them Niger Delta actually came from your backyard. Are you not aware of this? It's quite funny. Truth be told, even a blind man knows that Bia and Larry no be the same family. Even a blind man know that Bia Kangwagi, Bia Nengwai, and Larry Varena no be the same. And you don't know? Check the two language. Varena Tamuwe, Larry Woyena, Koyo, Domo, Wado. Now, when you come to Ika, you hear Nanini, Biano Wenem, and you will allow your jacket, no ma. Look at these two words that are just, these two sentences that I just make now. You see that there is a lot of space and difference. Now, let me draw your attention to another. Nakedu kiime, imerole, unasokwata, ndewo nnam, no, omanem. Now look at the word I speak. Now let me take it to Ika now. When I'm not there, unazwa afia. Now they here we are here. I hope we are here. Carry what? No, when I'm Allah. Now look at these two words that I just exchanged now. What have you to say in all of this? See, it is obvious there are a lot of things you look. Forget whatsoever drama you see people play on the social media. They do that for an interest. But at the first, they will tell you they are doing that to save you. But when you begin to investigate their position or their stand saving you, you know they are doing that because there are things that are targeting. They are targeting something. And because they are targeting something, that is why they are dragging you. But now they are letting you know that others that has 80 to 98 similarity with you, that they are not in any way related to you. They who we can say, okay, 5% out of 100, they are now telling that they are the real authentic. I just make an illustration at the beginning of this video that what we are discussing is likened to Lagos State or Kano or Abuja of today. A discussion of migration and identity origin is likened to what? Abuja, Lagos and Kano of today. How did I mean? When you go to Lagos, and I will tell you that the visitors who flock into Lagos to look for their daily bread and ends meet, that they are more populated than the owners of Lagos State. They are Salawaris of Lagos State. Those who own Lagos, they are not as numbered as the visitors who came into Lagos. Mind you, when you get to Lagos, there are Hausas. They are in hundreds of thousands living in Lagos. Right from the day of discoveries of Lagos, we have Igbo, we have Ijo, we have Kogi, we have different tribes who lives in Lagos. They coexist together. They share things together. Mind you, Yet, none of these tribes have been able to impose their own tradition, language on each other tribe. Everybody maintain their language, maintain their culture, maintain their value system as who they are. And even looking at the numbers of influx of visitors in Lagos, you will agree with me that even up to now, the visitors are not able to change the language of the owners of the land. Everybody maintain their language, their culture, and their value. So if what I'm telling you this evening is right, now that is to say, there was a time we were all in a do, living together, transacting together with different language and values. When it got to a time, a point that everybody began to migrate out of Idu to their place where they came from. That migration, it is not an identity. Makonyi Ibonna Yamere migrate. Right? When there are people that have lived in Lagos 60, 70 years of their life, yet they are not Yorubas, yet they are not Aworis. A time will come, they will retire from Lagos and migrate back to their community or their village where they came from. At that point, will the worries lay claim on these people that these people migrated from Lagos and so therefore they are our descendants? Will it be so? The answer is no. The answer is very, very no, if there is any English like that. So when you look at Benin people standing up to lay claim or to say things they cannot defend, it's quite unfortunate that there are some of our brothers who are applauding this nuisance that these guys are actually constituting on the social media. You are applauding them. You are clapping for them. Why they insult you? They spit on your face because of hate. And an unwarranted hate, because of jealousy, an unwarranted jealousy that you are having against yourself, thinking you are hating an Igbo man from Anambra, and you never knew that all you are doing, you are hurting yourself because you are an Igbo man. Even if you did not accept it by that word Igbo, but when we look at some of your daily transactions as a human being, both the language, your character, everything you possess and act on a daily basis, you are nothing but an Igbo man. But yet, you deny yourself of that your true originality because you felt that when you say you are not an Igbo person, you are hurting somebody. But the truth is that you allow enemy to want to stand in their house and begin to decide for you what happened in your house. Oh, yeah, and Benin now. Then after Senator Ned Nwoko had a discussion with us on a space, he made a shocking revelation about us, Ibaki, and the whole general Anyoma. Now, Benin guys are grouping themselves as a vulture that they are known with. You know, deciding what will become of us as a people. And our people are clapping for them. In the next election, we'll make sure that Ned did not see that today. I look at this young man. Are you leaving Edo State to come and vote for us in Anyoma? Because if I check well, Edo State just had an election. If it is not 3 weeks ago, it should be 2 weeks ago. And I did not see an Anyoma person, a car, Anyocha, and Okwali person deciding what happened in Edo State. We were all looking from afar as a spectator. We were all looking, waiting for the delivery day by the Edos. Because the decision making on that election is in the hands of the indigenous of the Edos. Are you getting me? Now, there are some non-indigenous who lives in Edo State who by privilege has stayed there for so many years, decided to register for voting in Edo State. Now, the only right that these guys have to exercise in Edo State is to vote any candidates who they think that will give them what they want by their manifesto. But an Igbo man can never come out in Edo State, begin to tell Edo people who Edo people should vote for. It's not possible. It's an affront. It is in the hand of the Edos to tell the Igbos who live, the non-region of Benin who lives in Benin, to tell them, yes, this is the person we want to go for us. Put your vote. It is our candidate. It is our brother. We know him. Then we will not cast our vote by the convincing word they gave to us as non-indigenous. We cannot campaign for anybody in Edo State. So for an Edo person to begin to say that then we decide what happened in Delta North come next election, if I did not speak on this, it simply means that I'm just playing on the social media. These guys are nothing but, they have mental instability, because if they did not have mental issue, I don't know what would have given them such audacity to come on a social media to want to begin to decide for us. To begin to decide for us what will happen in our own place. These guys are funny. They are deciding for us what will happen. They are deciding for us what will happen for. Check it, go in. Check it. So if our people are clapping for them, with anybody from Ika who is applauding these Benin boys on this user, they are constituting against us as a people. I think you guys are nothing but foolish. You don't do that. We don't decide for Edo people. So Edo people don't have right to decide for us. Everything with a boundary. They should know they can talk, but they cannot decide for us. Their mouth is attached to their body. They can use their mouth to express the level of their sense, but they cannot come into our own courtyard to decide how we dress our flower or our garden. It is our duty. We know the way we want to put our house, and we have the right to put our house that way, not Benin people. So send this message to them, and if you're watching me and you are from Benin, I'm using this medium to tell you guys that you are crossing your boundary. You have actually taken more than you can chew. The decision of Delta North lies with the Delta North, not with their those. You have overclaimed. And one of the funniest things with you guys is that if I should call you up now, okay, come and tell me in details how I am a Benin man. You begin to draw, you don't know this time, your father this one, and you will not give me any substantial evidence or proof that will help me to assimilate whatsoever thing you are talking. One called me yesterday on Sunday. He wasted his time. He was talking, I was looking at this man. I told at a point, I said, sir, do you know that you are talking to somebody who is actually matured? He said, you know, I said, what do you think of me? Before coming to tell me all this jargon, I said, the audience I am giving you, it is because I don't like insulting people. I don't like insulting people. That is why I'm giving you an audience. So the audience I am giving is because of the level of respect that I have for you. And for that, I think at this point, if we don't have anything reasonable to say, I don't need to waste my time. That was how, I batch him and we close the whole chapter. But one of the funniest things is that these guys, they are still crazy. Running from TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, what is it called, YouTube. And I've come to realize something. Well, I know it's a content that they are creating, making their money. It's a basis of trying to drag themselves on the social media, keeping people busy, creating content. But at some point, you don't use everything to create content. Not be everything you go take create content. Not be everything you go take the create content. Now wetin I dey tell these Benin boys? Make una respect on yourself now. Yeah? Make una respect on yourself. Not be everything una go take the create content. Honestly speaking. So we got to respect ourselves, and that is what I'm saying. If you're a Benin person and you want to talk about this issue of identity and you don't have anything to say, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. As you all know, Nigeria is where we are. The light has gone for now, so a little time I'm going to be saying goodbye. So what you should know is that you as a Benin person, you should actually understand that we as a people, not everything you say, not everything you do. So mind your boundary, don't cross the red line, because if you do, you won't like what will befall you. The reason why you hear Benin from my mouth is because there are some narrative that has been published, has been publicized. If you are trying to address those issues, you will mention them where those matters are coming out from. That's the reason why you hear me call about Benin or not Benin. That is the reason why you can hear me as a person talk about Benin or Ndi do or whatever. Because for me, what I'm doing is to unite my family. And Benin is not part of my family. So mentioning Benin is a kind of wasting my time and an energy. But it's quite unfortunate that I cannot do my work without mentioning it, because there is a claim already that I need to debunk. And by debunking that claim, that is where you see me talk about Benin people. If not, and when I'm trying to mention anything that is called Benin, because I don't have any deal with them, they don't have any deal with me. What is actually connecting me to this whole thing of Benin or not Benin is because as old as I am, with the little knowledge I know I have, there are some stories I should not take in as a knowledge. There are stories I should not take in as a knowledge. Story like, now that I'm from Benin. You should imagine that. If I should accept that, how would my life look like? Story like that. I began to speak while I'm speaking today, because my father got married to an Igbo woman. So my mother came in and changed my father's language to their own language. Look at this whole issue. Another one is like that it was when missionaries came, they came with Igbo people. So the missionary Reverend Father told my people to start speaking their language and begin to learn Igbo language with the help of these interpreters. That is how we lost our language. Now, in all of these claims, you call somebody and say, okay, at what point did our normal language change from what it is to what we are speaking now? Akikonezi, Oburisi, no answer. So what language were we speaking before we started speaking the dialect of Igbo? Give me an answer. Okay, if what you're saying is true, how did we change our community name to what the name that is bearing now? Are you telling me that our forefathers in the Benin established the whole community, decided by half Igbo? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Now, hi, Afulamife. Now, when we are not talking about this bullshit that you guys have edited on a Wikipedia, using it to run up and down from pillar to post, looking for who to brainwash. Let me still sound it right to every one of you listening to me, that migration is not an identity, it's not a yardstick to identify somebody. Migration is there to actually tell you a story of things that happen time and season, where you live, how you move from one end to the other. But when we talk about identity, there are so many things you need to look into. There are so many things you need to look into. There are so many things you need to look into as a person. So when we begin to do that, and that is why I tell people, if you actually want to engage me in discussion or conversation, get ready and be that person that is not ready to corner or fight. Come and tell me fact. Give me proof that are better than what I'm saying. I can learn from you. And if I see somebody who give me an undiluted history and I check it and I see truth in what he or she is saying, I will accept it. But the truth is that it's going to be difficult to see somebody, except the person will be saying the same thing that I'm saying. Because I know there is nothing you will say that will be different from what I'm saying. Because I will ask you a question. There are some things we need to check as a people. There are some factors we need to look at as a people. Are you getting me? We look at those things and begin to balance an equation. It cannot be this one. The one that called me and said, yeah, we live together. He do this one. And because he want to lie, you see him shooting himself on the leg. My brother, there are how far you can paint a story. Of course, there are how far you can't do it for too long. There are how far you can paint a story. There are how far. So more, how can you deceive me either? I don't know. Can you story here? Can you story here? More. Can you story here? More. Which story be that? Can you story here? So let this sound as a warning to Benin youth who are parading themselves on a social media, both in TikTok, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, what is it called? Twitter. Respect yourself. When you begin to hit hand on your chest that you are going to be deciding what happened in Delta North, it's an affront to my person. If nobody in Delta State is taking that statement as an insult, I particularly am taking it as an insult because it's an insult. You don't decide what happened in Delta State. For now, even when we get to Anioma, you don't decide what happened in Anioma because you are not part of us. And if tomorrow Anioma is given death and remain, the moment Anioma State is announced and everybody separate whatsoever and go back to their state to begin to build their state, everything I have with Delta State cease that moment. Everything I have with Delta State cease that moment. Every document that I have that is with Delta State as a name, I can go to the offices and begin to make change of those documents to reflect Anioma State, because I have nothing with Delta State anymore. And it can be written anywhere because it's Nigeria. But I can decide to change that document to Anioma because I don't have anything again to do with Delta. That is how it works. You that is in Edo State cannot decide what happened in Delta State. So fuck you. Fuck you. Coming to tell me you decide, you from Benin Oyemoro, okay? Your last election, did I chook math there? Show me that Anioma person that took math in the last election in Edo State. Wike will be politician. He no come the Edo State. Did he succeed in Edo State? You people actually stood your ground as an indigenous of the state. Whatsoever fraud that was committed in Edo State, it is Edo people that commit that fraud during the election, not non-indigenous. Not non-indigenous. So you decide what happened within your territory. So opening your mouth, you are going to decide whether Ned Nwoko will go again or not. Okay? Don't try that statement again or you won't. You should have the man. Afona Sagi. Afona Sagi. That is by the way. My name remains Oyemo Madu Kainebi. I am wearing Akumazu Mocha, and Akumazu Mocha is located in the Kano local government area of Delta State. Whether you like it or not, Abumoya Anioma and Anioma Bundibo. Now, I am not doubting or I am not saying 100% that there are not non-indigenous who has come to live with us. For example, we have Olukumi people. Olukumi people are Yoruba who left Owo to live within their Anioma geographical location. Are you getting me? So those people, they have lived with us from time immemorial. you know, from time immemorial, and those guys are actually, when you look at those guys, you discover that we're living within us, you know, they are Yorubas, but they still retain their culture and tradition. We that you are claiming that we are from you, the only thing you always talk about is Adan Ebony, which a day is coming, I'm going to discuss how the Adan Ebony came on board. Because the Adan Ebony was a gift given to Oba Benin from which people? Because the Benin's are not the originator of that Adan Ebony. We will tell you how it come about. Are you getting me? So you from Benin should respect us as Ndanioma. So I know for sure that there are one or two families who are, if we check by DNA, they can record Benin or the Edos. But they are few. And for that, because they are few, majority will always take the lead. And that is why you see, when you come to that Delta North, we speak majorly Igbo dialect of Kwale, Eka, whatever. Take it or leave it. Are you getting me? So when you come and talk about blah blah blah, respect your when you check it there, over Nigeria, Morisha should be a lecturer by now, and I will teach you by fact and figure. There should be physical things to see while I'm teaching you. I'm not going to base my analogy only on theory. You must see what I'm telling you. You feel it. That is a way to teach somebody, and you can learn without forgetting what you learned. Theory or teaching. We take you to practical. We practicalize everything we are telling you. As far as this is to the concern, you are fear equal. No doubt about what we are saying. But I don't know money and we disturb where you want. Now go paracetamol, ni sure we want. For your mind, your family people, for your mind, your family people, they are up to one net wokabi. You know, social media now bragging. Some of them they talk. I'm not mad. They talk through their annuals. But then you begin to wonder where this one coming from. Where this one coming from? Because when you look at what these guys are saying or what they are doing, you will see that I've made a parable while I was talking day before it's on TikTok. I said, these guys who are from Benin, let me just tell a little story before I leave this live program. A little story. Majorly, how we were integrated more with this in the Benin. Now, initially, before the creation of Midwestern states, are you aware that the so-called Benin, after the waves of migration, that all the families that were living together in Benin left Benin to their present abode now, that gave birth to so many communities you see today? We return back to our homes, living Benin. Now, after migration and all that, after the amalgamation of Nigeria as a country, you know, regions were created, governments were formed, activities began. People began to move from one end to other, looking for ends meet. You know, people who lived Alibo to Lagos, those who live Lagos to Port Harcourt, those who live Port Harcourt to elsewhere, you know, we began to trade within ourselves through the white and so on and so forth. A lot of things started happening. So the government of Nigeria began to run. Up to 1960, now the white, Nigeria gained her independence. The white left the country. The white removed their hand in the governing system of Nigeria, allowing Nigeria to take responsibility of their so-called government. Are you getting me? Now, at that point, a lot of ideas was brought in We began to have democracy to military era back to democracy, so on and so forth. And a lot of policies were being introduced into Nigeria as a system. Now it come to a point, Yorubas were part of the West. When I mean the West, the Edos were part of the Western region. Go and make and fast check. We in the cast, I won't say anything. If you know who were we and which region were we identified as before the creation of Midwestern region. At that point, the Benin began to cry. They started a protest and they said that the West are marginalizing them. The West are marginalizing them. They don't want to be part of the West anymore. Then what happened? They began to clamor for a Midwestern region. That we give them a separate region. Do you know the reason? Because when you come to Yorubas, the Oni of Ife is a renowned royal family, a king. Oba of Benin is a renowned king. And these two entities being in one region is a confusion. Because the Benin are not ready to be loyal to Oni of Ife. And the Yorubas are not ready to give him because they believe that they own the Benin. This is a part of the marginalization that the Benin's were crying. I am telling you nothing. These are things you might not read, but after saying what I'm saying, you can go and fast check. Read the story about the belt of Midwestern region. What prompted the betting of that Midwestern region? Now, why Benin were, protesting? We, the Indibos, our people. Number one, Dennis Osadebe was involved. Zeke of Africa was involved. Dennis Opara, Michael Opara, what is he called? Michael Opara was involved. These are giants who are from the Eastern region who throw their weight in support of Benin because they wanted these people to have their own, this thing. And they said, okay, at this point, we need to bring Benin as small to be called a region. So let us carve out some people. Michael Opara, they advocated that the Igbos who are across the Niger should be added to that region so that we can have more space as a people. At that particular moment, Igbo race has problem. The error that was made or committed at that point was accepting that Igbo part should be added to that Midwestern region within the Benin. I'm telling you nothing but the truth. We were subbed together to form a Midwestern region. Mind you, a lot of in-house politics were played, subjecting our people to dance to their own ideology. This is some of the things that gave them that impetus to be calling the Igbo speaking in Delta their descendants. Because Oba of Benin happened to be a renowned king, every king within that area was made to be under Oba of Benin because they became his subjects. Even up to this moment, all the royal fathers that you see within the Edo, it is Oba of Benin that paid them salary, making them to be under him. These are some of the errors. We campaign for them. We help them to leave the Western region. Now they are turning back to laying claim of us. That was what gave birth to Western region. That was how it was built. At point when states were created, during that way, they were bended states. And that bended state, we, the Igbo speaking in that area, was also part of that bended state. And then Bended State, the capital of Bended State, happened to be Benin City. The capital of Bended State happened to be Benin City. point, the Oba of Benin still remain number one monarch within that bundle. So every traditional ruler in that bundle state are subject to Oba of Benin. These are some of the things that gave birth to some of the trace of Benin traditional effect in some of these our traditional institutions in different community. I am telling you what I know. Let any Benin person come so that we debate it. I'll be giving you facts and figures. I don't read Wikipedia. I tell you facts. You can fast check on your own. As a grammar speaker, me, I know I speak English. But what I'm telling you is nothing but the truth. They were subject of Oba Benin until that point where we have what is called Delta State and Edo State. Bendel State were by Ibrahim Babangida was created. The Bendel State was divided into two to Belt Edo State and Delta State. Now the effect of what transpired during the region, Midwestern and the Bendel, is still at work in our people. So when you see them deny and begin to make some unfounded, what is it called, this story, don't blame them much. So you don't expect them to receive deliverance automatically. It's still going to take us time to tell people to see need, to reason into what we are telling them. I'm not fighting with you, but put your eyes and put your ear. You are a human being. You are not daft. Reason it, ask questions, you get the right answer, just as I have. Afamu boy Mamadu Kaini. Abu Moya Kumazi Umuacha. Somebody is asking me, you are too small to do what you are doing. Knowledge, blessings of knowledge does not come by age. There are some things you yield yourself into. Nature will begin to make itself manifest in you. There are some things you yield yourself into. Nature will begin to manifest himself in you. That is what you're seeing playing out. I can say more and more and more and more and more. I know what I'm saying. It's late already. I'll come your way again tomorrow. We continue from where we stop. But mind you, I'm going to be giving a teaching about Adan Ebene. Because in the village, you go, yeah, dying too much. Not how I went. Yeah, has a dash. We're going to talk about that. Maybe tomorrow or some other time. My name is Oyewo Madoka. In case you are just joining us, until I come your way again, just stay tuned. Let me go my house. I think I enjoy speaking with you. I enjoy speaking with you guys. See you guys.